from day one, it's been one thing after another. I've watched. There's a lot of poltergeist activity here. Again, it was early days for me. I was doing an afternoon tour, and I watched a teacup float up in the air and flip over and come back down during the tour. It scared me. It scared the people on the tour. I mean, this was like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was not nighttime. It was not a ghost tour. It was a regular historic tour. Stuff just kept happening. And another entity, I call him James. He's a World War II soldier who died tragically in the house. I think we talked about that last night. He throws the picture, and now we can't put the picture on the wall anymore because he broke the frame, he broke the glass, and it's a very nice poster from World War I, and the museum would really like to hang on to it. So it's now on the floor, so he doesn't throw that anymore. However, he does this to me. Now tonight, when we walked in the house, I have been so worried about her. I've been praying all day for white light for both of us tonight. And as soon as we walked in the house, I got the heebie-jeebies. It's just like every bit of my skin was prickling. And it got worse as we came through the house, and it was really heavy when you guys came in the front door. And I knew they were all about us already, and it's going to be an interesting night tonight, I can say that.
Okay.
I am a volunteer with the museum. I started here about 2 years ago. I actually came on a day tour. The museum was closed at the time, and I came with my 10-year-old daughter. We were standing in the dining room on the first floor, and it was myself, my daughter, and my mother-in-law, Bonnie. And the three of us were standing at the table just talking, and natural, clear as day footsteps came down the front staircase and walked down the hallway towards the old doctor's office. And they were so clear footsteps that all three of us stopped talking, and my daughter and I looked over to see who was coming in the dining room. Well, my mother-in-law has been with this museum for 11 years and knows the footsteps and all the noises and where they come from. It was my first time here, and I didn't know that. And Bonnie looked at me and she said, "No, there's no one here except for us." And my daughter looked at me, and we were done. We were ready to leave. I became attached to the house that day and began volunteering for the ghost tours. I was a skeptic most of the time. This was just a fun thing for me to do. I've seen things move that I couldn't explain. We were closed for cleaning, and I went through to set the lights out preparing for a tour. And the rooms upstairs had been cleaned, but in the little girl's room there was a toy in the middle of the floor. And I thought, that's random. And I picked up the toy and I set it on a chair. And when we went upstairs with the tour, with our tour group, there was a glow-in-the-dark star that had come out from under the bed and was in the middle of the room. And I gave it to my mother-in-law, Bonnie, and that was the second time in that one night that a toy had come out from underneath the little girl's bed. So I still tried to explain that away because being a skeptic, I can't help it. We were doing a late-night investigation once, and I was wearing a tank top, and I felt a soft rub like down my arm. And I was here with Bonnie and another volunteer, and I'm doing like this, and I'm doing like this, and they're looking at me like, "What is wrong with you?" And I said, "I think I have a loose hair," because I kept being rubbed. Well, as soon as I said, "I think I have a loose hair," the pressure was very distinct. It was almost like, no, it's not a hair, it's me. And that scared me because I could not logically explain that, and I packed up my stuff and left. And
It was an early night for Laura.
I left them to do the tour the rest of the night themselves. I could go into 100 other experiences that I've had, but I'll get to last night. We were doing a tour here, and we have an antique bed in the attic that, as far as I'm under the impression, no one is allowed to sit on. I've never sat on the bed. I've never allowed anyone to sit on the bed. It's very old, and I've always been concerned that it would break. So when I bring my group up there, I sit on the floor, or I stand by the doorway of the attic, and they sit in chairs that are set out for them to do their investigation. Well, last night I'm standing in the doorway like always, and my eyes focus on the bed, and I can't explain why, but I couldn't help myself, and I walked straight to the bed and sat down on the bed. And I would never do this because the people pay to do these investigations, and I would not interrupt their investigation that way, but I did, and I can't explain why. So I sat on the bed, and they looked at me because I had already told them no one is allowed to sit on the bed, not even me. And so they looked at me in a confusion as to why I was sitting on the bed, and I didn't respond to them at all because I couldn't talk. So they talked a little more, did a little more investigation, and then got up and left. And normally I would follow them out of the attic, but I could not get up off the bed. And once they left, I was in the attic alone, and I laid back on the bed, and I don't know why. I couldn't stop. And I laid back on the bed, and I was staring up at the ceiling, and I felt as if I was being suffocated. I felt I was being choked. I felt like my mouth and my nose were covered, but not to the point that I would die, like a struggle. And I knew I wanted to fight, but I couldn't. I felt like I didn't have use of my arms. After this struggle seemed to be over, I heard another group coming up the steps, and I slowly sat up, and the first man who came around the corner and looked at me, his jaw just dropped. And he tried to ask me if I was okay, and I tried to be normal, casual, and I tried to say I'm okay, but very monotone, with no emotion. I said, I'm fine. I was trying to be okay for this man. And they came tearing back downstairs and to my mother-in-law and told Bonnie that there was something seriously wrong with me. They said I was white as a ghost. And I could not get up off the bed. I couldn't control what was happening. He said my eyes had rolled back and I was as white as a ghost, but
Wow.
I can't explain it. I couldn't control it. I couldn't stop it. And for a few minutes I tried to get up, but I was stuck. I was just stuck. And when I came downstairs, I felt very heavy. I felt like my teeth wanted to fall out. I had this tingle all over my body, even in my mouth. And I tried to clench my jaw together to put pressure on my teeth to release that feeling like my teeth were going to fall out, and I couldn't even clench my jaw shut. I was like paralyzed almost.
Do you want us to leave?
93?
Is this thing even scanning? Just come give us some kind of something that you're here. Just let us know in some way that you're here. Make a noise, make this light go off.
We're going to touch your baby.
Angie likes your baby. She wants to go play with it. Can she go touch it?
I do.
That sounded like a kid. Did you hear
I
that?
did.
Was that you, Jesse?
Does it bother you that Laura's on your bed?
Wait. They say wait.
What are we waiting for?
Look, Laura's on your bed. She's nice and comfortable up there.
It said it's okay.
Do you mind that she's on your bed?
Did it say what I thought it said? It did say the F-bomb.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
What did it say?
It said what the? It said the F-bomb.
Are you mad because she's up there?
Sounds like something scratching or something.